Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Millett Arena for a huge game today in the MAC Conference between your Lady RedHawks welcoming in the Cardinals of Ball State. My name is Matt Zsembik, and I'll be your host for today's pregame show, halftime show, and postgame show. So, today's programming, we'll be talking about the game itself around the MAC and college women's basketball, and the three keys that I believe will help the RedHawks pull off this win. So both teams, the Ball State Cardinals, have been a dominant team in the MAC for years. They are led by Coach Brady Sally in his 14th season. They come in at 22-5, 13-1 in MAC play. Their last three games, they've won over Eastern Michigan, Bowling Green, and Buffalo. However, that one loss in the MAC Conference does come to your Lady RedHawks. In late January, the RedHawks came into Indiana, and they dominated the Cardinals with a final score of 72-52. Your Lady RedHawks have enjoyed a great season so far at 21-5 in second place in the MAC, so a great duel here between the first and second teams in the MAC. Their last three games, they come in with a win against Western Michigan, a tough, almost buzzer-beating loss to UMass, and a win here on Wednesday at Millett against Central Michigan. They have won 8 straight games here. They're riding a great season. We're looking for a great crowd here on a Saturday afternoon in Oxford, Ohio. The RedHawks, like I said, 12-1, heartbreaking loss to UMass, 65-64. But both teams are eager to get this one as we are just under 20 minutes till tip-off. So, around the MAC Conference, today we have Kent State and Akron playing a little rivalry game. That one is halfway through the second quarter. Kent State up by 7 points. We got Northern Illinois playing against Western Michigan, UMass playing against Central Michigan, Buffalo against Eastern Michigan, and Toledo against Bowling Green. So a couple rivalry games here today, as this one is clearly the biggest game in the MAC Conference. So, your RedHawks are led by Coach Glenn Box with leading scorers Amber Treader averaging 14.7 points per game. She also leads the team in rebounds with 8 points per game. You got Tamar Singer leading the club in assists with 7.4. RedHawks this season are shooting 45.1% from the field, 52.9% from two-point range. They're shooting 34% from three-point range and a nice 77% from the free throw line. Ball State Cardinals are shooting 46.7% from the field, 54.4% from two-point range, 33.1% from three-point range, and 68.7% from free throw. Their best player is Bree Salenben. She leads the team with 15.9 points per game. Tessa Towers, the center, 6'5". She's averaging 8.2 rebounds per game. Karison Norman with 5 assists per game. Salenban leads the team with 1.6 steals and 0.9 blocks per game. So, my keys to the game here, the RedHawks, in order to win this one, as they are welcomed onto the court, RedHawks wearing pink today. My 3 keys to the game is they need to stop the fast break. That's one thing I believe they need to do. This Ball State team is very physical. They cut a lot. They drive to the basket, and they are a very physical team. They need to stop the fast break, and they need to break the press. They need to not turn the ball over. They need to hold on to the ball. They need to, make smart passes, smart plays, take the open shots. Like I said, the past meeting between these two teams, it was a dominant factor for the RedHawks. They came into Indiana, and they won by 20 points. Another thing I believe is pivotal for the RedHawks is I believe they need to shoot threes. This Ball State team is very physical and very good defensively. A lot of games are low scoring for them. But, yeah, the RedHawks, they need to shoot threes, and they need to stop the fast break. So those are some of my keys for the game. Yeah, we're overall we're looking forward to a great game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game as Millett Arena starts getting more packed. the teams. Ball State wearing their white uniforms, as like I said, the RedHawks wearing their special pink uniforms. We're looking for a great game here today. Looking forward to it. And thank you guys very much. This is Matt Zsembik signing off for the pregame show.
It is the biggest game of the MAC women's basketball season here this afternoon. The winner puts themselves in the driver's seat for a MAC regular season title today as two one-loss squads match up for the second time this season. The Ball State Cardinals are in town as defending MAC champions to take on the Miami RedHawks. Luke Poley, Andrew Relvas with you. And Andrew, Miami, I think, surprised a lot of people the first time these two teams met as the RedHawks went on the road to Worthen Arena and they thumped Ball State, winning in Muncie for the first time since the 1990s. The RedHawks had front-run the conference ever since until Miami dropped a game to UMass, and they now sit in a technicality a half game behind Ball State, who sits at 13-1 in the conference. Miami 12-1 in the MAC. But overall, if you take care of business, you win this game again here today, you've got an inside track to the MAC regular season title.
Yeah, in that game they won by 20, and that was a game where Miami absolutely dominated them defensively. I mean, everything was going right for the RedHawks. They're such a tough environment to win in, and they proved everybody wrong, but it only gets tougher here. Good thing, though, you play a home game here, and the RedHawks have been really good at home here. They haven't lost, and they're looking to continue to stay red hot and continue this surge here in the Mid-American Conference this season.
Miami 11-0 inside Millett Hall this season, and one of their best crowds they've had all year in the house for the annual Love, Honor, Care game and the Ride Cincinnati game. Some special uniform combos on both sides. We'll highlight that in just a little bit. As for the Ball State Cardinals, dropped a game to Miami. That is their only loss, though, coming on January 24th in the conference, and this team has just been ripping through the rest of their MAC schedule. They're coming off a 33-point victory on the road against the Buffalo Bulls. And Ball State is rolling into this game again, feeling probably just as good as they did prior to that loss against Miami in late January. This team has picked up high major wins this year. They took down Pitt. They took down Cincinnati as well. And they have been one of the most consistent teams in this conference under Brady Salee, who's now in his 14th season. They finished top 2 in the MAC or the divisions back when that was the conference format 11 times out of the 14 seasons with Salee at the helm after he came over from Eastern Illinois. And this year, looking to potentially be no different. Ball State, though, hoping that they can move to inside positioning for a MAC regular season title. What really evaded this Cardinals team, despite all their regular season dominance in this conference over the last decade, was the MAC tournament title. And finally, Ball State broke through last year, picked up their second ever bid to the NCAA tournament and first in 16 years, and they now sit as the defending champions of the MAC for just the second time. Starting lineups, and it's the same for both of these teams. For Glenn Box, third-year head coach of the Miami RedHawks, he rolls out Amber Scallion, Tamar Singer, Amber Tretter, Nuria Herho, and Ilsa DeFries. That is the typical 5 for Miami, and same can be said for Brady Salee and the Ball State Cardinals. This is one of the youngest teams in the MAC in Ball State that was picked to finish 4th in the preseason, but has been just as consistent as ever despite losing a number of pieces from that MAC championship team last year. Carson Norman, Tessa Towers, Anise Tagayi, Grace Kingery, and Bree Salenbein, the starting 5 for the Cardinals here on the road.
Yeah, and it's honestly crazy just how good they are from last year. They lost their entire starting 5. They lost their top seven scorers. They haven't missed a beat, and they just look really incredible this year.
Our officiating crew here this afternoon, Cameron Inouye, Royce Blevins, and Linda Miles, friend of the program, on the officiating crew today. Ball State in the white uniforms on the road with script Ball State on the front, gray numbers on the front and back. Miami in the all pinks for the cancer awareness game with script RedHawks in white on the front and white numbers on the front and back. Pink accents all around on both teams as Ball State wins the opening tip-off. Cardinals go right to left, and we are off and running here from Oxford. Battle of MAC heavyweights, first place on the line this afternoon. Glad you could join us on Red Hawk Radio. From the right side, Nail, a pull-up jumper from Tessa Towers, rattles off the rim, and the RedHawks have the rebound. Nuria Herho takes it across the timeline on the left wing. Herho finds Singer up top. Singer coming off a 7-point performance in Miami's cruise control win over Central Michigan. Holds it at the top of the key, feeds it right side for Herho. Back up top, Singer. Touch pass into the post for Amber Treader. Her two-hand shot put up from there is blocked. Loose on the deck, though. Nuria Herho goes down for it, as does Tessa Towers. And they tie up with 3 on the shot clock. And Miami keeps possession, but loses the arrow with 9:12 remaining in the first quarter in a scoreless game. Miami's got to get something quick as they inbound for the near side baseline. Scalia directs traffic with her right hand, palms the basketball, looking for something, finds Herho short corner right's got to put something up here, and gave it away as she tried to wiggle between a double team. Taken by Tugai, down from right to left, but now Ball State throws it away right into the arms of Tamar Singer. Takes it diagonally across the center M, inserts into the post for Amber Treader, who lost it. It's another giveaway, this time for the RedHawks as the Cardinals go quick. Norman catches a pass on the far wing, right elbow extended, works around the baseline through Treader, feeds it to the center of the paint. Floater from there is short from Tugai, but an offensive rebound, and Towers puts it back in to open the scoring nearly 90 seconds in as it's 2-0 Ball State.
Yeah, and she had 3 RedHawks draped all over her, but she shook it off no problem. Very impressive.
Left wing 3 from Scalia, a little bit strong off the heel, and Towers rises up for the rebound. 4th in the MAC in rebounding at over 8 boards a game. She holds from up top. Ball in both of her hands in front of the 22 on her jersey. Bring around the arc to the far wing for Norman. Slings it back out top for Kingery, who puts it into the post, and Towers turns around and banks it in off the window from 5 feet. This Ball State team is great on the interior. That's something Miami will have to keep an eye on as a team that struggled to rebound the basketball throughout this season. 4-0 Cardinals as Singer's open from the right elbow extended. She lofts up a 3. That's short. And the rebound on the strong side grabbed by Grace Kingery. Brought across the timeline by Bree Salenbein, the Gonzaga transfer down the middle. And we've got a 3-second call on the inside. And so it's given away by the Cardinals. And already 4 turnovers between the two teams. 7:35 clock rolling in this first quarter. 4-0 Ball State as Singer has it just inside the key. Down the center. Puts it out left for DeFries. She fakes the shot, drives in, and lays it home with the right hand to get Miami on the board and sink the crowd into their seats finally. Nearly 3 minutes into this ball game, it's 4-2 Ball State. Tugai throws it into the corner. It's snared by Norman, nearly lost it out of bounds. Rips it around Singer, tosses it into the paint, loose on the deck, scraped up by Tugai. Puts it out to the free throw line where Towers knocks down the jumper. Tessa Towers has all 6 Ball State points. They lead by 4. Now Singer goes coast to coast, went right around Norman, who slipped and fell there. That's an easy layup for Singer to get her first points of the afternoon.
Yeah, and all these points right now coming in the paint could be a theme that we see all throughout this game.
Stop and go move on the right wing for Salenbein, and she collides with her defender in Scalia, who's whistled for the foul. Or rather, Nuria Herho called for it there for Miami. Glenn Box rocking the hot pink sweatshirt, talking to the official on the far side as Herho checks out. Miami brings on Clara Gonzalez to take her place. Inbound from the far side baseline for Ball State. They put a high ball out to the MAC logo for Salenbein. She catches, throws it past a double team down the right lane for Tugai to lay it in. 8-4 Cardinals, 6:27 to go first quarter. DeFries from the right angle extended on a shot fake, finds Singer in the same spot, slashes across, kicks to the corner. Gonzalez comes down with it. Half the shot clock gone as it's Treader out top, cuts diagonally, second hash on the right side, pulls up with a mid-range jumper. That falls too far off the back rim. And the rebound grabbed by the Cardinals and Grace Kingery. Now it's Salenbein between the circles, tees up a long 3, in and out. And DeFries grabs the rebound with 2 hands for Miami.
Let's see if the RedHawks use the clock here.
They instead go quick right around a screen from Amber Treader. Tamar Singer goes straight line drive down the center of the paint with another open lay-in for her second field goal of the afternoon. 8-6 Ball State, 5:40 to go first quarter. Held on to in the far corner by the Cardinals in Norman. Now the ball ping-pongs in the left side for another mid-range jumper by Towers around the free throw line. It doesn't go. Ball loose on the floor. And I believe it was touched by the Cardinals while stepping on the baseline as both teams fought for the rebound. And so it's Miami basketball here with 5:29 to go in the first quarter. Both teams make a slew of substitutions. Mio Sakano into the game for Miami. Nuria Herho back on for the RedHawks. Alba Caballero comes on for Ball State, along with Zen Verberd, as Sakano brings it up the floor for Miami. JUCO transfer from South Georgia Tech, puts it into the high post for DeFries. She's double teamed, tries to pull up amongst the trees, gets her shot blocked from the left alley. And now Kingery with a transition tray from the left wing, little bit strong. Scalia grabs the rebound in a crowd, bounds away from it, crosses the timeline down the middle. Quick shimmy move behind the back on the dribble, finds Treader, three-point fake, kick out, Scalia, right side three rather, and that's off the back side of the rim. And the rebound picked up by Ball State as they try to go quick, and Carson Norman just lobbed a high ball towards the right side, out of bounds. It ends up in the Miami bench. Cardinals give it away for the third time, and that brings us to a timeout on the floor. 8-6 Cardinals in a battle for first place here this afternoon in Mid-American Conference play. We'll return to Millett Hall in just a moment. It's past the halfway mark of the opening quarter. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. .450 remaining first quarter. Bit of a slugfest so far as Ball State leads Miami 8-6. Both teams have coughed the ball up quite a lot. Miami's not shooting it great at the moment. 3 for 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. Red Hawk ball from left to right coming out of the media timeout.
Yeah, honestly, pretty good start between these two teams. We'll see if the RedHawks get the three ball involved.
They tried immediately from the far corner. Scalia was open but left it short. Rebound by the Cardinals and Bree Salenbine. And now they slow it down. Salenbine from up top. Native of Michigan who played 4 years at Gonzaga. And was recruited by Ball State, but she was a 4-star coming out of high school and ended up with one of the top mid-majors in the country. Cardinals again throw it away up top as Caballero is looking for a cutter down low and just threw it into the support of the basket. Amber Scalia comes out of the game for Miami. Macy Taylor in for the RedHawks as Tamar Singer holds one finger up and dribbles with her right hand. Singer crossover, kick out. Taylor fakes the three, cuts across, stops at the nail. Bounce pass to the right wing for Herho. Slides toward the lane, hands it off on the right side for Treader, and her layup hits off the bottom of the backboard. Rebound by the Cardinals. They push. Salenbine tried to catch it between two RedHawks, but it was knocked away by Taylor and touches off the baseline. Stays with the Cardinals. 3:58 remaining in the first quarter. They still lead at 8-6. And this ragged start continues as Miami brings Ilse de Vries on for Amber Treader. Emily Van Timmeren had checked into the game briefly. She now comes out for Ashton Ely. Inbound to the far wing for Grace Kingery. All the way in the corner. She bounces it into the post for Salenbine. Turnaround shot stuffed by Ilse de Vries, the max leader in blocked shots. Comes up with her first of the day. And the RedHawks have it on the offensive end. Herho thought about the three from the right wing. Instead gives a short pass further right for de Vries. Now it's Ely, sidestep, right wing Trey. Off the heel, Miami 0 of 5 from beyond the arc to start. And the Cardinals have the rebound courtesy of Verbert, the freshman. Taken across the timeline by Guarini. She finds Verbert, spins into the lane, tosses it up with her momentum towards the basket, but it rolls off right. Herho's got the rebound for Miami. RedHawks push. Singer got it after half court, pushed it all the way to the rim, but laid it off the heel, no good. And now Verbert with a transition three. That's off the front iron. And the rebound controlled by Ilse de Vries of Miami. Pace has been fast, but neither team making shots right now. Both shooting under 35% at the moment from the field. 8-6 Ball State, under 3 to go first quarter. Taylor drives in. Stops Mac Logo, steps to the side, finds Singer again, a drive down the right alley, and this time a lengthy layup falls in. Singer laid that up from outside the paint, but she ties the game for Miami at 8 apiece with just over 2.5 to play first quarter. Verbert got caught sliding a little bit there, but RedHawks did not get the travel call they were hoping for. Up top, it's Caballero now to the far wing. Kingery pulls it down. Ball pinned on her right hip, comes off a screen. She's buried in the corner, gives it into the post now for Salenbine. Works to the block, turnaround shot, line drives off the rim. Thought she got fouled as some words for the official as Miami takes it back down the floor. Herho top of the key, fakes the three, and Salenbine pressured her from behind and forced the travel. And the RedHawks turn it over as Brady Salee makes 3 subs for Ball State, bringing 3 of his starters back on the floor, and Norman, Towers, and Tagayi.
And so far, Towers, 6 points. I think that's who the RedHawks really need to circle. She wasn't as big in the first matchup, but we'll see if Miami can force some off-ball pressure and try and get some steals, maybe from Singer or Herho.
7 points for Towers in the first meeting against Miami. That is tied for her lowest offensive output in a MAC game this year. Kingery comes off a screen, stops just underneath the key, lobs it into the short corner for Towers. Back face to the basket, gives it back between the circles for Norman. Wraparound pass on the right wing. Tagayi pondered the three, instead hands it off. Now a race up the baseline and stumbling there. Tagayi, or rather that was Kingery, still got rid of it to the corner. Missed three from there by Verbert. Offensive rebound for Ball State, but they turn it over, trying to enter it back into the paint. de Vries with the steal. Scalia now on the left wing, steps around a screen. Shoves it into the paint for Treader. Turns around just underneath the free throw line. Finds Herho on the far block. That's swatted away by Norman. RedHawks have the loose ball as Scalia leans in for the right side and gets the friendly roll to give Miami their first lead of the day at 10-8 with 75 ticks left in the first.
Feels like that right side is where Miami loves to go, and they have answered everything so far.
Verbert straight away, puts it down to the right block for Towers. Turnaround shot flies not even close, laterally across the basket. It hops out of bounds. And is Miami basketball with 1 minute even left in the opening quarter. RedHawks leading Ball State for the first time. It's 10-8.
Miami's forced 6 Ball State turnovers as well. They're very careful with the ball, but a really great start defensively for the RedHawks.
Singer just missed Treader there. She was holding it out near half court, thought Treader would cut and just threw it to nobody out of bounds. 6 turnovers for Ball State. That is the 4th turnover for Miami. And these are both teams that are really, really good at taking care of the basketball. They're the top 2 teams in terms of assist-to-turnover ratio in the MAC. But both defenses have frustrated the other side so far today. 50 seconds remaining. Ball State could play for the 2-for-1 if they hurry. Norman settles it down on the right wing. Now it's Towers beyond the 3-point arc. Now straddling the line on the left side. Gives it straight away for Verbert. Burrows down the right side. Again, Miami thought they had to travel. Instead, it's a kick out. Step back 3, and that falls for Grace Kingery. Teams were combined 0 for 9 to start from beyond the arc. Finally, one falls. Shot clock darkens. Miami gives it away again, though, as Sakana was looking for Treader on the left block and went right through her hands. 15 seconds remaining, and as Ball State tried to push in transition, Kingery traveled off the scoop-out pass from Tagayi. And so the RedHawks make a couple subs and bring Amber Scalia back onto the floor along with Clara Gonzalez. Shot clock off with 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 11-10, Ball State leads it over Miami. Brought into the front court by Tamar Singer. She heads right, bounces it for Treader straight away. Now it's Scalia on the left wing with 4, with 3. Puts it into the post for DeFries, trying to dodge around her defender. She turns around and throws it up and got fouled, I believe, as she was desperately heaving the ball. I don't even think she got that shot off, but the official's whistle blew, and that's what I think Brady Salee is arguing, that happened after the first quarter came to an end. DeFries got the ball batted away on an entry pass by Towers, who was defending her. DeFries then ran it down in the far corner, had very little time left, and just kind of turned around and chucked up a shot. I believe she was inside the 3-point line, so I think this would just be 2 shots, as it did look like she took a dribble after turning around that brought her inside the 3-point line. But the baseline official blew the whistle and called a foul, even though DeFries did not release the ball prior to time expiring. That shot would not have been counted even if it went in. It did not come close, as it was an off-balance shot with a defender in the face for Ilse DeFries. And so now the officials are taking a look at this.
Yeah, it's going to be very close, and this one, obviously a close start here, 11-10, but this could potentially give Miami the lead after the first quarter that saw really a ton of pace tick up here inside Millett Hall. Honestly, these free throws are going to be big. Just the way these 2 teams have matched up already, you can absolutely take advantage of this if you're Miami. Definitely want to get ahead in that free throw margin.
And by the way, counting that foul, supposing that it stands, there were only 2 fouls called in that first quarter, 1 on each team. Nobody shot a free throw. Ball State started 0 for 4 for the 3-point line. Miami is still 0 for 5, so this has been quite a defensive battle thus far. Both teams are shooting almost identical from the field. Ball State's 5 of 15, Miami 5 of 16, and right now it's 11-10 Cardinals. Call on the floor was a foul against Tessa Towers for the Cardinals, which would send Ilse DeFries to the free throw line. And after review, they say the foul came after the shot was sent in, so that means, or after the time expired rather, so that means it's wiped off the board. Towers does not get called for the foul, and the first quarter has come to an end. So we will step aside after 10 minutes. This has been a rock fight here in the battle for first place in the MAC as Ball State leads Miami by an 11-10 score. We're back to Millett Hall in just a moment. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Both teams a little stunted in the first quarter. We get set to begin the second. The score, Ball State 11 and Miami 10. Teams are a combined 10 for 31 from the field at the moment as the Cardinals have it right to left to begin the second quarter. Reset into the starting five again for Ball State. Straightaway three lifted up by Kingery. That misses off to the right. Rebound chased down by the Cardinals, but they can't get to it as it bounces into the Miami bench. So the RedHawks have the basketball with a chance to retake the lead. Ball State led for most of that first quarter, but not by much. RedHawks whip it up the right side of the floor, and Ilsa DeFries buries a three from the corner. And finally, Miami gets their first three-point make of the afternoon as the RedHawks are now 1 for 6, and Miami gets a deflection and a turnover as Tagayi had it ripped out of her hands, but got the last touch on it. So the RedHawks get the ball back after the 8th Ball State turnover.
And finally, a triple falls for Miami. Just the perfect time to do so. And let's see if the RedHawks can build a little lead here.
Singer works to the right block. Now back up to the free throw line. Gives it back outside for Herho. Has a return feed. Bounces it to the short corner left for Treader. She goes back for Singer. Climbs up the baseline. Bounces it straight down the center of the paint. Outside for Scalia. She drives to the MAC logo. 3 on the timer. Singer steps it back from the right wing with a long three. A little bit off the front rim. And the RedHawks got a hand on the rebound, but tap it out right to Grace Kingery of Ball State, who brings it into the front court. Kingery then nearly threw it away out near half court. Tessa Towers recovers it in the circle and now has it back at the free throw line. Steps up with a long two and rattles it in. Towers ties the game at 13, 8:35 to go second quarter. And Towers has 8 of Ball State's 13 points. Scalia now on a straight line drive, and she lays it in from the right alley. 15-13 Miami, 8:21 to go first half. Salenbine has a give and go down the right side, and off the return feed in the paint, laid it up strong, but got fouled. And the foul goes against Herho as she picks up her second.
Yeah, that's an interesting development. Herho, one of the better defenders, arguably one of the best defenders on this Miami team, and we'll see what Glenbox decides to bring in, and he'll sub in Gonzalez Planella.
Sends Bree Salenbine to the free throw line. 50-year senior out of Adrian, Michigan, former 4-star recruit, top 10 guard in the nation. Tosses up the first free throw, it rims out on her. Former Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Michigan. Puts up the second free throw and makes it, coming over from a Gonzaga program that isn't quite to the level of blue blood territory like their men's team, but they are perennially one of, if not the best, true mid-majors in the country. 15-14, Miami leads it as the RedHawks have it on the offensive end. Singer works through traffic in the paint, kicks out, left corner three to Freeze, swirls the iron. And a rebound by Norman on the strong side, far wing for Ball State. She lofts it ahead for Tagayi. The Frenchwoman who settles it down for the Cardinals. They go a little bit slower. Salenbine slings it from right to left side. It took a deflection, still finds Norman, who works up the baseline. Gives it out for Towers. Another free throw line jumper is pure. Towers with 10 points for Ball State on the jumper there. And the Cardinals retake the lead now as Scalia steps to the left and she drills a three. So Amber Scalia had her foot on the line there, actually, so it's a two-pointer officially, but does get Miami back in front at 17-16 with 7:14 to go in the first half. Salenbine holds it right side of the key, overhead, lasers it across for Norman, paint touch near side for Towers, gives it for Tagayi on the drive through the center of the paint. She lays it up and missed, but got fouled. And they get Treader for the foul, that's her first. And it sends Anise Tagayi to the free throw line, one of many European recruits, freshman on this young Ball State team. Started all but one game in her true freshman season. Tosses up the first free throw and knocks it down. Tagayi won a U18 European Championship with the French national team, played in the top division of France's women's basketball circuit. Leaves the second free throw short, and Tamar Singer chases down the rebound in the far corner for Miami. We're level at 17, 3-minute mark second quarter. Singer just walks it up and takes a three. Clangs off the left side of the rim. Salenbine got trapped in the corner off the rebound, but outlets for Tagayi across half court. She then threw it right to Amber Scalia, but she could only get a hand on it and knock it out of bounds. Nearly went tumbling over the courtside seats to try and save it, but ultimately just loses the ball out of bounds. Stays with Ball State, 5 seconds off the timer. 6:50 remaining in the second quarter. 17-17 our score. Macy Taylor checks in for Amber Scalia as the Cardinals inbound from the near wing. Inserted for Tagayi. She leads Salenbine down the right wing, laid it up too strong again, but an offensive rebound for Tessa Towers, and she puts it back home. 12 points to lead all scorers for Tessa Towers. She's the only Cardinal with multiple field goals. Singer now works through traffic, had a relatively open layup, but from a tough angle, she threw it off the bottom of the rim. Cardinals work it quick the other way. Norman stop and go from the free throw line. Now backs it out on the right wing. Norman circles the paint on the baseline. She punches the ball ahead to Towers. Kick out Salenbine, cross-court feed. Norman open three from the corner, rattles in. So Norman knocks down the triple. That's her first basket, just the second make from beyond the arc for Ball State. They've got a 5-point lead, which is the largest for either team today. Under 6 minutes to go, first half. Singer comes around a screen. Finds Gonzalez, shot fake. Back out Singer on the wing. Up the baseline, she traveled. Tried to jump stop before a pass and shuffled her feet. 6th turnover on the RedHawks. Glenn Box pulls Mia Sakano off the bench. She checks in, and now Amber Scalia rushes in as well. Tamar Singer and Clara Gonzalez off for Miami. As possession goes back to the Cardinals with a chance to add on to the largest lead of the game. 5:46 to go second quarter. It's Ball State 22 and Miami 17.
Feels like Miami, these past couple of defensive possessions have just been a step late, and that's given Ball State really good opportunities on the offensive side.
Salenbine holding just inside the arc. Started to stumble backward, but outletted for Tagayi at the right elbow. Tagayi in the short corner, lobs it into the post. Double team there, knocks it away from Towers, but right back to Tagayi. She leans in from the right block, missed it, and then Treader got hands on the rebound, and Tagayi collapsed on top of her and is called for the foul.
Yeah, nothing intentional there. There's just kind of a loss of balance, and that'll give Miami the ball back. Overall, the RedHawks scoreless for the past 2 minutes, so they desperately need a positive possession here and hopefully one that uses up a lot of the clock. Miami as well, 1 of 9 from the three-point line, a area that they've been really good at this year.
RedHawks second in the MAC in three-point percentage, but have not hit their shots from there so far today. DeFries tried to wrap it into the post. Double came in immediately to knock it away, but Kingery stepped on the baseline as she went after the loose ball in the corner. So Miami gets a fortuitous roll there. It stays with the RedHawks. DeFries tried to enter that for Treader, and Kingery came flying in from underneath to knock it away. Inbound on the left angle, extended for DeFries around the arc to the right side. Now Taylor tried to wrap it into the post. There are multiple Cardinals there. It's stolen away by Kingery. Kingery runs it across the timeline diagonally from left to right. And now it's Norman who steps back on a long two for the wing, and she missed it off the back iron. 3 RedHawks rise for the rebound. Ends up with Miami, and now it's Singer down the left wing. Comes off a screen set by Treader, stops at the second hash in the right lane, looking for an outlet, bounces it out, looking for Treader, and she's called for the foul, reaching in on Salenbine. Miami just looks super discombobulated right now on the offensive end. They've now turned it over 8 times, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 4:36 to go, second quarter. Immediate timeout here in the second, with Ball State leading Miami 22-17 as the winner moves into first place in the Mid-American Conference standings. And the Cardinals with the early lead on the road, trying to split the season series against the RedHawks. We'll return to Millett Hall in a moment. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. 4:36 remaining second quarter, and this defensive battle continues as Ball State leads Miami 22-17. Both teams with 8 turnovers so far. But the Cardinals have started to figure things out offensively. Miami still searching for some answers as Carson Norman was holding onto the ball high right off the inbound, just pivoting all over the place, and Tamar Singer punched the ball out to knock it into the sideline. 22 on the shot clock. It stays with the Cardinals, and the inbound again goes to Norman, who cuts it across to the left wing. Norman now stumbles to the free throw line, shovels it back out for Caballero. And now it's Salenbine who steps back straight away, puts up a 3, little bit short. Offensive rebound torn out by Caballero. And she finds Norman down the center of the paint, but a 5-foot floater clangs off the back rim. And the RedHawks have the rebound. Amber Treader grabs it, her 4th board of the afternoon as we move under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Miami trying to cut it back down to 1 possession. Treader double teamed, ropes it to the near side for Nuria Herho. And now it's Singer. Circles to the hashes on the left wing, finds Scalia on the cut to the rim. She goes up and gets fouled. And we will have just our first and second free throws for Miami in this game after they had a chance at the free throw line wiped off the board on review at the end of the first quarter. Finally, Miami gets to take some foul shots. Only 6 total fouls called between the two teams so far. Amber Scalia at the free throw line. And she buries the first free throw. 80% free throw shooter this season, good enough for 8th in the MAC. Miami's got 2 top 10 free throw shooters on the team, including the MAC's best foul shooter in Tamar Singer. Scalia makes them both and gets a breather on the bench as Clara Gonzalez comes back on. RedHawks cut it to 1 possession at 22-19. Miami picks up some pressure here full court, and Ball State just throws it to nobody. That ball thrown down the right side, and nobody touched it. So that means Miami will get the ball from the offensive baseline following the Ball State turnover. So just a miscommunication there for the Cardinals. Clara Gonzalez comes right back off, and Amber Scalia on. So it's an offensive sub for Miami. And Scalia puts it in right in front of the Ball State coach's box where Singer nearly stumbled out of bounds. She finds Scalia back up top, though. He steps back on a 3 and nails it. Tie game thanks to Amber Scalia. Miami would love if she could heat up from 3 after an 0 for 3 start. She does have 11 points, and she's been good from inside the arc. We're level at 22.
Yeah, perfect way. 5-point possession, and the RedHawks right back in this one.
3:21 remaining first half on the right wing. Catch and shoot tray for Verbert. Lips off the front rim. And a rebound run down by Herho. Gives it across for Scalia. And now it's Herho between the circles again. Comes off a screen left, steps it back. Finds Treader straight away, and now it's Singer short corner right. Treader backs in towards the block, working on Salenbine. Inside out, force a 3-ball by Singer that misses everything strong. And bounces on the baseline out of bounds. And goes back to Ball State. And Glenn Box is continuing to just make offensive for defensive subs as again Clara Gonzalez comes on for Amber Scalia.
And Singer, a good 3-point shooter, but tonight 0 for 4. I mean, she's just not having good looks right now, and we'll see if Ball State continues to lean into that.
Salenbine with a one-on-one mismatch against Herho. She missed it down the right side. And the ball tapped out of bounds and into the hands of Glenn Box's wife sitting courtside on the baseline. It goes back to Miami with 2:42 remaining in the second quarter. Inbounded by Treader. Singer brings it up the floor. Pointing with her left and right hand, crossing over on the dribble. Now circles back to face her head coach away from the basket as Glenn Box calls up a play from the Miami box. 2:27 to go first half. Singer on the crossover, kick out Herho, far corner, fakes the 3, whips it back. 3 from there for Singer, and that falls. Singer just replaced Herho in her spot when she started to drive, got it back, and Miami drains the 3. And they finally started to catch fire a little bit as Singer's got 9. The RedHawks have a 25-22 lead with just over 2 minutes to play in the half. Kingery finds Verbert on the right wing. Comes around a screen. Got to the baseline. Threw a pass back outside off the bottom of the backboard. Miami trying to race in transition. Singer looking for Herho. It was deflected out of bounds by Ball State. There's a good amount of Cardinals fans who traveled the short distance from Muncie. This is the shortest MAC road trip that Miami has. And for Ball State, just an hour and a half away. They're calling for a review out from the stands, but Brady Salee is not going to challenge this. So Miami keeps possession from the near side baseline. Scalia threw it away. Threw it out towards half court, looking for Singer, who just circled towards the basket, and Scalia just rainbowed it out towards half court to nobody. We have seen on both sides a lot of communication struggles like that here today.
Yeah, and it's uncharacteristic too. I mean, these two teams are so well connected, and we've just seen a lot of careless turnovers in this game so far.
Brought into the front court by Carson Norman. Ball State trailing by 3 with under 2 minutes to play in the half. Herho strips it away from Norman as she enters the paint. Loose ball falls right to Towers. She went up with it, got blocked, and then the ball is tied up between Towers and Treader. And it ends up with Miami off the arrow with 97 seconds remaining in the half.
Yeah, that's how you limit it. Really good scorer in Tessa Towers. Get her in her face, frustrate her. The RedHawks did just that, and they forced the turnover. Nicely done.
Treader's with the block and the tie-up, and Miami's got the ball back as Scalia works up the baseline, fakes the up and under. She's double-teamed, gets bumped, lost the basketball. Scooped off the deck by Ball State, and Salenbine tried to rush it down the floor, attempting to pass from right block to left block, looking for Towers. It's tipped out of bounds by Miami. And the RedHawks reset defensively. RedHawks rush Emily Van Timmer into the table. She takes Amber Treader's place. 1:17 to go, second quarter. Miami by 3. Inbound for Norman into the corner. Catch and shoot 3. Kingery way too strong. Nothing but air there, and Herho grabs it for Miami. Threading a long pass forward for Singer down the left wing. Through traffic, Singer goes inside out for Herho on the right side. Herho now with a crafty dribble move to get to the left block. Lays it up, waist high and in. Nuria Herho with a nice bucket there, her first of the day. And Miami's got a 2-possession lead for the first time. 27-22 with under a minute to play. Norman goes up top for Salenbine on the shot fake. Got her defender jumping. Heads to the right lane. Floater from there. Rolls off the left rim and in. And the RedHawks now see their lead shrink to 1 possession again. Shot and game clock separated by 10 seconds. So Ball State will get the ball back here. 29 seconds to play first half. Singer controlling near corner of the M. Rocking the all-white shoes, she heads right, bounces it into the post for DeFries, ripped it through, missed the initial shot and the follow off the front rim. Towers has the rebound for the Cardinals as the shot clock turns off with a dozen seconds remaining in the half. Norman holding out near half court, pressured by Singer, heads left. Norman tried to lob it over the top. It's caught there by Towers, but she threw it off the side of the backboard. Then a follow by Tagayi is nowhere close. I think she thought she was fouled, but just threw it right to the RedHawks. I think that was a shot, but almost looked like a pass, and time expires anyway. And Glenn Box goes right to this officiating crew and is protesting Ilsa DeFries' couple shots on Miami's last offensive possession, arguing for a foul, but none came. The RedHawks have to settle for a 3-point lead at the half as Miami is up 27-24 after 20 minutes of play. Well, in the first meeting, Miami led 34-30 out in Muncie, but fueled by one of their best third quarters of the season where the RedHawks outscored the Cardinals 27-9. They blew Ball State out in their home gym. Overall, knowing Glenn Box, I don't think he's very pleased with what his team is doing offensively at all at the moment. Both of these teams have kind of gotten away from the identity a little bit on the offensive end, but both squads do like to defend, and at the very least, they executed well on that end of the floor.
Yeah, for Miami, we've seen so many good third quarters all throughout the season. Likely going to see another similar result here, but a 3-point lead. Pretty good start for the RedHawks, although not the greatest shooting numbers. You could say the same for Ball State, but I think the key storyline here is Salenbine only 1 of 7 from the floor. She's your leading scorer for Ball State, and she has really been struggling against this Miami defensive front, and you know that's what we've seen from this Miami defense. They usually take away your best option, make other players rely on it offensively, and the RedHawks right now really limiting Ball State's best offensive options so far.
Leading scorer in the first half was Tessa Towers with 12 points. Miami's leading scorer, Amber Scalia, with 11. And the RedHawks lead it at the break by a score of 27-24. We'll take a break. When we come back, RedHawk Radio halftime is on deck. Stats and analysis from the first, to look around the Mid-American Conference and the national scores, and a preview of the second half when we come back. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on RedHawk Radio. Halftime here from Millett Hall. RedHawks in front.
And at the end of the first half, your RedHawks have a one-possession lead, 27-24 on the Ball State Cardinals. This game has been a very defensive, low-foul game with only 6 total fouls, 4 on Miami and 2 on Ball State. Your leading scorers for Miami is Amber Scalia with 11 points, and for Ball State is Tessa Towers. So my takes from the first half, like I said, both teams started slow. I believe at the end of the first quarter, it was an 11-10 game. So the second quarter, it picked up a little bit more, had a little bit more action. Both teams shot a little bit better. Ball State shooting 32% from the field, Miami shooting 38% from the field, with both of them shooting under 30% from three. Ball State with 20 and Miami with 25. Also, like I said, very low fouls. Ball State 50% from the line, 2 for 4. Miami 2 for 2 from the line. Your rebound leaders are Isla DeVries for Miami with 5, Tessa Towers with 5. In order for Miami to win this game and really start to pull away in the second half, I believe that they have to take care of the ball more. Both teams, especially Miami, turn the ball over 10 times. So they need to be more careful. There's a couple instances where they just did not have it coordinated correctly, and they would inbound the ball, and they just were not on the right page. So hopefully Coach Box can get that settled throughout the break, as we are just 6 minutes away from beginning this second half of action. Around the MAC and women's basketball, an update. Kent State is on top of Akron 78-56. Northern Illinois is losing to Western Michigan 32-18. UMass is up 42-23. Buffalo and Eastern Michigan tip at 2, as well as Toledo and Bowling Green. So look for those games to start in about a couple minutes. So the RedHawks with a 3-point lead at halftime. Let's see if they can continue their momentum throughout the break, and see if they can take sole possession of first place in the MAC and take back. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the postgame show.
Third quarter on deck here from Millett Hall with the score Miami 27 and Ball State 24. Luke West, Poley, Andrew Relvas with you after a first half that was played at a high pace, but not necessarily with high execution at all times. Neither team shot the ball well at all in that first half. Miami, though, did end the first half on a 10-2 run, but to give you an idea of how much it's been a struggle to score here this afternoon, that 10-2 run took place over more than 6 minutes. Both teams have really struggled to score the basketball. A combined 21 turnovers between the two teams in the first half. Andrew, Miami started to shoot the ball a little bit better. Not all their looks were bad, but I think both coaches were just kind of gritting their teeth, scratching their head a little bit on the sidelines with some of those turnovers we saw in the first half. Really uncharacteristic for the two best teams at taking care of the basketball in this league. And got a feeling with a couple high-caliber head coaches that things are going to look a little different coming out of the break.
Yeah, and these coaches are certainly accustomed to adjustments, especially just the way these two coaches have won. And, you know, for the RedHawks, it feels like the third quarter is the golden quarter for them. They always have a good third quarter, and we'll see what Ball State can do. But just kind of a not great shooting night, and, I mean, you're going to have those. You're not going to be great shooting for the entirety of the season, but we'll see how these two teams adjust, and hopefully for the RedHawks, they can go 2 for 2 in knocking off the Ball State Cardinals, this time at home.
Miami does have the all-time series against Ball State, but had lost 7 games in a row prior to the win earlier this season against the Cardinals. Glenn Box's teams at Miami have always been built off of defense, and they played good defense in that first half. Hoping they can use that to open up a lead as we get started in this third quarter. Ball State goes left to right in the white uniforms to begin and immediately target the post for Tess Towers. She leans underneath of Ilse DeFries on the right block, and she lays it in to get the Cardinals within 1. Towers, your leading scorer in the game with 14 points for Ball State. And it's 27-26 Miami, 20 seconds into the third. Treader double teamed from the MAC logo inside the paint, tried to go up with it, lost the ball. Working in the face of Bree Salenbine, scooped up by Norman, who takes it across the timeline down the middle. Bounces it into the post. Towers works free, gets behind 2 RedHawks, and babies it in off the backboard with the right hand. Ball State back in front at 28-27, a mini 4-0 run coming out of halftime. DeFries with a shot fake on the left wing, drives diagonally on Towers, and races around her to lay it in with the right hand.
Bigs are getting busy here inside Oxford. Both DeFries and Towers cooking in the third quarter.
Salenbine comes off a screen left, stops in the short corner, feeds it to the middle of the paint where Tagayi is all alone, and she bunnies it in. To leapfrog Ball State back in front at 30-29. We're just past the 1-minute mark, third quarter. On the left wing, Scalia jab step behind the back on the dribble from the elbow, picks it up, gives it out for Singer. It's off her right hand and down to the floor. Norman picks it up, 2-on-1 for the Cardinals. She lobbed it too high on the wing for Tagayi. She's got to settle it down on the outside. Hands off Kingery, her 3 off the mark. Offensive rebound Tagayi, put back rattles off. Rebound tipped twice and into the arms of Ilse DeFries for the RedHawks. Maria Herho into the front court for Miami. Stops in front of her head coach Glenn Box, now races to the bucket, fakes the pass to the outside, tried to go up and got tacked by Tagayi, who spikes that ball into the baseline. It's blocked out of bounds and stays with Miami with 8:20 remaining in the quarter. 30-29, Ball State leads. Inbound right under the basket for DeFries. Shadowed towards the near side. She gives it in for Scalia. Around the arc to the far wing. Herho holds overhead. Now left angle extended, it's DeFries. Cuts to the rim, races right around Towers and lays it in with the right hand. Starting to see Miami exploit that a little bit with DeFries working against Towers. A little more speed off the dribble. She's now up to 9 points. Norman brings it ahead for Ball State. Miami leading 31-30. Towers from the short corner kind of fumbled a jump shot. Still got it up on the rim. She missed it though, but an offensive rebound and putback from Grace Kingery. Again, lifts Ball State in front. Ball kind of slipped out of the hands there of Towers, but Ball State still collects the offensive rebound and scores. Now from the left wing, a slash across by DeFries. Stopped her feet in the paint. She slid, she traveled, and Miami coughs it up.
Yeah, that was a wide open lane for DeFries, but just a careless turnover there, and they give the ball back to Ball State. And it's just very interesting to see how much Coach Salih has leaned on Towers, especially not in the first game, but you know, he's adjusted and he's really exploited this Miami weakness down low.
Ball inbounded for Norman. She bounces it back for Salenbine, who races across the timeline and tried to give a bullet to the corner for Kingery, who started her cut too early, but Miami deflects it away and out of bounds. Stays with Ball State in front of their bench. From the corner, it's inbounded to Norman high left, works her way to the right side. From the high angle, holds the ball overhead, Singer a hand in her face, fed into the corner for Tagayi. And now it's Towers standing on the three-point arc on the right wing, bounces it into the post. Gonzalez got two hands on it, but it's ripped away from her by Kingery, and she floats it up and in from 5 feet out. Ball State by 3, 34-31 with 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. Urho behind the back on her dribble, works to the left elbow. Downhill to the block, try to give it to the outside. That pass batted down, fell to Treader. She went up with it and got fouled. It's committed by Salenbine. The Ball State bench did not like it, thought Salenbine just got a hand on the ball there. But it sends Miami to the line for just the second time. Free throws number 3 and 4 coming up for the RedHawks. First attempts for Amber Treader, who has held scoreless to this point and leaves the first free throw short. Looks at something on the back of her hand after she let go of that shot. 5 rebounds, 1 block, but Treader 0 for 3 from the field. Now 0 of 1 from the stripe. Second one up in the air, and that pops out as well. So an empty free throw trip for Miami. And that keeps Ball State in front by 3 with over 3 minutes gone in the second half. Towers catches a high pass on the left block, feeds it through to Tagayi off the cut, and she lays it in. And as Miami's starting to devote more attention to Towers, she's starting to pass the ball a little bit, and that's given Miami some issues. Ball State by 5, held between the rings by Nuria Herho. Eyed the rim for about 3 seconds before pulling back down. Now it's Gonzalez hoisting a left wing 3 and knocking it down. Clara Gonzalez hits the 3 for Miami. RedHawks desperately needed that one as she picks up her first points of the game. Tamar Singer then came up with a steal for a moment but gave it right back, looking to find Herho. Now Ball State gives it right back to Singer again. 2-on-2, Singer takes Tagayi to the rim, lays it up, plus the harm. A wild sequence. Singer forced a turnover, gave it right back to Salenbine, then picked off the ensuing pass. Had a 2-on-2 rush the other way, but let Salenbine just go out to the wing where Herho was and took her defender, which is Tagayi, 1-on-1 to the bucket, got the foul and the basket, and now she's at the line for 1 free throw. And it rims out halfway down. It popped back up on the rim. 360 the iron and fell out. And the best free throw shooter in the MAC for Miami misses one to keep the game even at 36. Slash across to the MAC logo, and a pull-up jumper is smooth for Grace Kingery. Top 15 scorer in the league. Kingery, the sophomore, makes it 38-36. Ball State. 3 hoisted up from the right wing by DeFries, doesn't go, and Tagayi gets the rebound, and Treader fouled her. And that, I believe, is Treader's 3rd.
Yeah, that's not good, especially the size advantage that Ball State has over Miami. You need a player with the size and the rebounding ability that Treader has, and they bring in Mio Sakano, but this is just a interesting spot for the RedHawks to be in right now.
Only 5 total fouls against Miami, but 3 of them on Treader, 2 of them on Herho. Both of them still on the floor for the RedHawks as it's brought into the front court by Bree Salenbine. She bounces it through off the cut for Tagayi, and she lays it in. And Miami has just lost the Cardinals underneath a couple of times on these last 2 possessions. Some easy baskets, and the Cardinals lead at 40-36. Gonzalez now cuts it across, works to the MAC logo, leans in, and finger rolls it home with the right hand. 40-38 Ball State, approaching the halfway mark of the third quarter. Just past the timeline on the right wing, it's Norman. Going back and forth on her dribble, waste time with the left hand, bounces it to the elbow for Tagayi. Had an open jumper look, doesn't take it, instead goes to the corner where Kingery steps in and buries a deep 2. 42-38 Ball State. We're in the media timeout window. At the next dead ball is Nuria Herho, bounces it waist high from up top, lifts up a 3. It bounces off the back rim, and Treader banged in for the rebound, but Norman ends up with it for Ball State. Now Tagayi on the left wing. Lobs it over top of everybody, and Towers catches goes up and under and gets fouled. And that sends us to a timeout on the floor as Tessa Towers will have some free throws on the other side of the break. With 4:31 to go in the third quarter, a strong start for Ball State has them back in front here in the second half. Cardinals leading the RedHawks 42-38. We'll return to Millett Hall in just a moment. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. .431 remaining third quarter. Ball State leads Miami 42-38. And a couple of free throws coming up for Tess Towers of the Cardinals. She makes them both. She could open up the largest lead of the game for either team. This has been within 2 possessions throughout the entirety of this one. Nobody has led by more than 5. Towers at the free throw line, a 65% foul shooter, and dead center on the first. Transferred in from Wisconsin last season after 2 years. Only played in 17 games with Ball State last year. And makes the second free throw, building on a really strong second season with the Cardinals. And makes it a 6-point ball game for the first time. 44-38, Ball State leads Miami. Macy Taylor into the game. She has it on the right wing for Miami. Dishes it up top for Singer. Back to the right wing. Open three for Taylor, and it rattles in. Not a super high volume three-point shooter, just the 12th make of the year for Taylor, but that's a big one to get Miami within 3. Towers now rips it away from DeFries, tries to drive in on her from the right wing, kicks it out wide open 3 look for Norman. That rims off the right side of the iron, and the strong side rebound picked up by Singer. Scalia now has it on the wing, cuts it across, steps back, and tees up a 3. Too far to the right, and a rebound by Salenbine for Ball State. Pass goes across half court for Norman, lobbed into the post for Towers. She goes back out for Salenbine, wants it back. Towers, kick out, left wing, open 3. Kingery is good. Grace Kingery, who's the 3rd best three-point shooter in the MAC, makes Miami pay. 47-41, Ball State. Again, a 6-point lead with 3:18 to go in the third. Singer kind of left alone from up top. Instead, she gives for DeFries, who knocks down the triple from the left side. And Glenn Box calls timeout. He was not happy with that possession, despite the three-point make for Miami. And that makes it 47-44 Ball State with 3:10 to go in the third quarter. Timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them here from Millett Hall. Again, the Cardinals by 3 with just over 3 minutes to go in the third. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. .310 remaining third quarter. Ball State 47, Miami 44. Cardinals take it left to right coming out of the Miami timeout. First timeout called by either team. Miami picks up a little bit of pressure, and it's thrown away by Salenbine looking for Norman across half court. Steal for Tamar Singer. Miami could tie it on this possession. Singer shimmies in, dishes it back out for Scalia from just inside the three-point arc. Pulls up and a long two that just scrapes the front rim. And the rebound by Grace Kingery of Ball State, who races it up ahead and now slows down as she crosses the white piping around the M. Put into the post, looking for Towers there. It's turned over. Miami gets another steal courtesy of Tamar Singer. Singer surveys ahead, works her way through the traffic, sidesteps, and now backs out to the left wing as Miami slows down. 2:25 to go, third quarter, 47-44, the Ball State lead. Two fingers up with the right hand for Glenn Box on the Miami bench. Macy Taylor has it on the wing. Short pass straight away for Amber Scalia. Screen to her right by DeFries. Scalia goes around it, races to the bucket, lays it up and in, off the window, plus the foul. Went down to her backside, and Scalia fired up as she connects on the two. Chance to go for an old-fashioned three as she retakes the scoring lead for Miami up to 13 points. And she can tie the game at the free throw line.
Just what the doctor ordered for the RedHawks. Scalia, such a swift and smooth player, and just an excellent play running down the lane.
Scalia's one and only free throw falls off. Miami's now 2 of 6 from the line today. And the rebound controlled by Norman up ahead for Ball State. Kingery now on the wing, pump fakes on a three, puts it back up straight away for Norman. She threw it over top of the defender to find Salenbein underneath, but she missed the shot off the bottom of the rim. RedHawks go quickly the other way. Singer scoops it up from the right side. That's short. Offensive rebound. Shredder clears out space, and she's fouled. Towers called for it. And if you're Miami, you'd love to get Towers out of the game the way she's been playing with 18 points, but that's her first foul of the afternoon. So not too much in that department for Towers. Brady Salih's going to check her out anyway, probably to just give her a small breather. She has played for the bulk of this game so far. And now Miami's got a chance to take the lead down one, under 2 to play third quarter. Scalia off the catch, straight away Trey, in and out. Popped down to the well on her, rebound to Norman. As she bounds it up with long strides down the left wing, deep into the corner, it finds Tagayi. And now into the post, in traffic, little turnaround hook for Salenbein, doesn't go. Fight for the rebound, and it's tipped out of bounds by Miami. Looked like the RedHawks would have controlled that rebound there. It almost appeared as if Scalia had two hands on it, but just never really got possession. And Miami got the last touch out of bounds. Inbound comes to Salenbein, and as she works her way around the paint, RedHawks called for the foul. Salenbein then took about 3 steps and laid it up and in. Ball State wanted the bucket to count, but it was well after the shot went up, so it's just a foul on the floor and no bucket. Amber Tretter checks off for Miami, and Macy Taylor comes back on for the RedHawks. Inbound for the near side baseline, goes into the short corner for Salenbein, and she's fouled immediately by Singer. Pivoted to the outside and then tried to go around the edge toward the baseline. Singer bumped her in the waist, and Miami's called for another quick foul. That's the 4th foul now in this quarter on the RedHawks. Bounce to the block now. A quick catch, and Salenbein goes up with it, but it leaves it short. Offensive rebound, though, for Ball State. Salenbein now throws it down low, and Kingery got lost in the back door. She catches it and lays it home to restore a 3-point Ball State lead with just over a minute to play in the third. 49-46 Cardinals.
A brutal possession, couple fouls on an easy basket inside.
Singer tries a far corner three and swirls it in. Tie game with under a minute to go in the third. Miami picks up pressure on Norman. Long pass ahead. Tagayi catches it just past half court on the left wing. And now barrels straight down the center of the paint. Got fouled as she galloped in. Lays it off the left side of the rim. It doesn't go, but Tagayi set to go to the free throw line. Brady Salih's not happy with Carson Norman on that possession as the Cardinals played a little bit ISO ball, but it works out for him to send Tagayi to the free throw line. The freshman from France, though, has struggled mightily this year from the line at just 47%. She's 1 for 2 from the line today. Tagayi arcs up the first free throw and gets a terrible bounce. Not a bad effort there, but it hit off the back rim, then the front rim, and somehow fell out. Trying to lift Ball State in front. 43.6 seconds to go in the third. Second one up and perfect for Tagayi. 50-49, Ball State in front as the clock starts rolling again. 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Miami's got the arrow. They lead it, or they trail it rather, by 1. Herho's got it straight away. Finds Scalia on the right wing. Circles to the elbow. Kick out for DeFreeze. Slashes across to the MAC logo. Draws the double team. Sends both of her defenders down. Kick out Trey. And it's banked in from up top by Nuria Herho. DeFreeze sent 2 defenders down to the floor. And Miami was playing 5-on-3. And Herho sends it off the window and in. Miami by 2, and with the shot clock off, Tamar Singer with the steal, and she's fouled by Carson Norman. Singer slams the ball down and goes right to her bench to celebrate. That is a big energy shift towards the end of this third quarter, and exactly what Ball State did not want to happen. A 6-1 run for Miami. That's the 5th foul in this quarter on Ball State, and it sends the MAC's best free throw shooter in Tamar Singer to the free throw line for a couple of shots with 7.5 seconds remaining in the quarter.
That's also her 7th steal. She has been a pest on the defensive side today, and she's had a really good game so far.
Singer's first one up, and catches nothing but net. Makes it a 3-point Miami lead. Again, she could maybe be on double-double watch if she continues to prod at the ball the way she has. Second free throw up. Again, perfect for Singer. 4-point Miami lead with 7.5 to go in the third quarter. Pass finds Norman down the left side with 5. Norman cuts to the middle with 3. Lost the ball. Taylor ends up with it. Did not get the heave off at half court. She nearly hit it, but didn't get rid of it in time. But Miami comes up with yet another steal just before the break as Norman just kind of tried to do it herself there and was a little out of control in the waning seconds. Miami goes into the final quarter break with a 4-point lead, 54-50 over Ball State after a half hour of basketball here from Millett Hall. Great finish in a high-stakes game coming up from Millett with Miami in front of Ball State. The fourth quarter is next with the RedHawks on top of the Cardinals, 54-50. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Back in a moment. Fourth quarter coming up here from Millett Hall with the score, Miami 54, Ball State 50. As you figured, both teams heated up in a big way. Miami outscores Ball State 27-26 in the third quarter. As Miami equaled their tally in the first half, Ball State exceeded their tally in the first half in the third quarter alone. RedHawks have it going from right to left, trying to move into first place in the MAC, entering the day a half game back of Ball State at 12-1. Scalia to the right block, threw it nearly away, but it's chased down by Gonzalez right as the ball was about to enter into Glenn Box's hands. Then Gonzalez works her way into the paint with a spin move, but laid it in and out. And Ball State has the rebound. Salenbine whipping the ball overhead. She gives it off for a high arcing three by Guarini, who's into the game again for Ball State. That's off the back rim. But a foul on the RedHawks. Going for the rebound, it's on Amber Scalia. First foul on her. And the inbound goes into the paint for Salenbine, knocked onto the floor, and it's out of bounds out the near side off of Miami. RedHawks were signaling for a challenge to the bench, but Glenn Box is not budging. For the RedHawks, possession sticks with the Cardinals. 42 seconds gone by fourth quarter, 16 seconds remaining on the timer. Giorgia Guarini, native of Genova, Italy, puts it in for Ball State. Down low, Towers had it on the block and her shot partially tipped. Loose ball controlled by the Cardinals. No shot though catching rim, so the shot clock winding down, and in the scramble, Tagayi throws it right to Tamar Singer on the far side. Singer coast to coast, leaves it on the right wing. Herho's three off the right side wedge of the rim. Second try though off the kick out, and Herho doesn't miss this time. Timeout called. Looks like by Ball State as Miami got the offensive rebound, went right back out to Herho in the same spot. And the best three-point shooter in the MAC gets 2 tries. She will surely make one of them as Miami's got the largest lead for either team today. First 3-possession advantage at 57-50. A minute 10 into this one. Timeout called by Ball State. It's a full timeout, and we will take it with them. So again, minute 10 gone by in the fourth with the score Miami 57 and Ball State 50 in the second meeting as the RedHawks look to sweep the season series. We're back to Millett Hall after the break. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. Biggest lead of the game opened up for Miami, 57-50. They're in front of Ball State with 8:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. As the RedHawks look to take 2 of 2 from the Cardinals, they entered this year having lost 7 straight. So arguably the most consistent program in the MAC over the last 10 years, the defending champs in Ball State. Miami picks up pressure as Ball State goes from left to right out of the timeout. It is brought up the floor by Guarini, running out of time here, and she traveled. Probably would have been a 10-second anyway as Guarini was holding on to the ball with 21 seconds on the shot clock, still in the backcourt. Brady Salih didn't look like he was going to call timeout there after he had just called one, and so Ball State coughs it up anyway. 57-50 now Miami with the ball as Gonzalez works her way to the elbow. Kick out Singer, open right wing three. Yes, sir. Tamar Singer hits the three. It's a double-digit lead for the first time tonight for the RedHawks. Tagayi quickly into the post. Towers ducks underneath, gave it away. Threw it right to Scalia, attempting to give it out. Now Scalia trying to work it up the floor for Miami, and the RedHawks do get it across half court on the wing, courtesy of Gonzalez. Miami resets as we approach the 2-minute mark, and the RedHawks are trying to pull away here. Miami on an 8-0 run, and they've got a 10-point lead. Gonzalez down the right lane, laid it up, and it rolled off the rim just a little short. Rebound Tagai. Straight ahead, stops just inside the three-point line, gives it off for Salenbine, wide open down the left side. Lay in to cut it back down to an 8-point Miami lead with 7:42 remaining.
That's exactly the way Ball State's going to try and get back into this game. They're going to try and stay involved in the paint, and for the RedHawks, see if you can disrupt some passes like you've been doing all afternoon long.
DeFries has it on the wing for Miami. And now it's Singer who goes across the teeth of the paint, gives out for Herho on the left wing. 7 on the shot clock. Herho races into the paint. Her lift-up attempt swatted away by Salenbine. Cardinals race up the floor now on the left wing. Norman surveys, steps into a left wing three. It rattles off. DeFries took a moment to gather it, but does get the rebound for Miami. And again, the RedHawks settle down. 7:03 remaining fourth quarter. Miami 60, Ball State 52. Number high dribble for Tamar Singer with the right hand. Good crossover move, kicks to the right corner. Herho's three, little bit short. Weak side rebound by Norman, clears out space for herself, finds Salenbine middle of the floor, who threads it ahead for Tagai on the wing. Tagai into the post, and high over the top goes Tess Towers to put it in and cut the lead down to 6 with 6:36 to go. Now the Ball State crowd starting to get loud. Miami 60, Ball State 54. Controlled straight away by DeFries. Out wide on the right side for Singer. She steps behind the three-point arc. Goes into the corner for DeFries. Backing in on Towers. Back out Singer now. 10 on the shot clock. Singer heads down the right side. Tossed up a little hook layup that went over top of the shot clock. Doesn't go. We play on as Ball State takes it from left to right. Norman for the left side. Around a screen that's fought over by Singer. Pass to the left elbow for Tagai. Works from the left elbow to the right block. She pushed it up too strong with the right hand. And Miami's got the rebound as it's walked up the right side of the floor by Tamar Singer. 5:52 remaining in the game. 60-54, Miami leads Ball State. Scalia between the rings. Holding the ball in her right waist. Dribbles at the right hand. Comes around a screen. Accelerates. Trying to put it up. Pinned off the backboard by Tagai. Race out for Ball State. And in transition, it's laid in by Kingery. Kingery got behind everybody, and the lead is 4. 5:30 to go. And again, Ball State starting to feel it a little bit. And it's brought into the front court by Singer, and a timeout is called by Glenn Box. Miami's second of the game. A 30-second timeout to try and reset things here after the RedHawks hope to pull away. Ball State not going away on the road.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't be comfortable around this Ball State team. They're so well coached. This is a really talented roster. And honestly, the past couple of possessions have just not been very good for Miami. They continue to drive in on the far side, and they've gotten blocked about 5 straight times. And, you know, they were shooting the 3-ball so well earlier, and they kind of have abandoned it. Hopefully, after this timeout, the RedHawks can get back to shooting it from deep and put this one away potentially for good against the Ball State Cardinals here.
Miami has won 17 of their last 18 games. RedHawks had a brief slip-up on the road. Lost just before the buzzer to UMass 2 games ago. But the RedHawks now trying to control against a team they've sat up top of the MAC standings all year with in Ball State. So they lead it by 4. Scalia has it on the elbow, steps back to the nail, pulls up with a long 2, bounces off the rim, and the rebound controlled by Norman for Ball State. Now Salenbine has it right at the key. Hands off for Tagai, shuffled her feet there for a second, but did get rid of it to Norman. Now again, it is Salenbine pivoting around at the nail, gives to the right side, short corner Tagai, works her way to the block, threw it way over top the basket. 2 hands on the offensive rebound for Ball State, but it's lost out of bounds by Norman. And Miami gets the ball back, leading by 4 with 4:50 to play in the fourth quarter. Tamar Singer brings it down the right wing for the RedHawks. And now it's Scalia high right. She finds Treaders in the game with 4 fouls. Herho left elbow extended. Up top again, Singer. Far corner of the logo. Dribbles with the left hand. Lines up a three. And hits it. Big one for Tamar Singer. She hits the three. She's got 22 points, too shy of a career high, setting a dramatic win against Cincinnati earlier this year. Miami by 7 with 4:17 to play. Kingery trying to bounce it to the right short corner for Towers. It's batted away by the RedHawks. Scalia brings it up ahead. Dribbling it shoulder high with the right hand. She gives it off for Tamar Singer, who resets to the right side.
Huge possession here for Miami. Got to be careful. Use a decent amount of the clock.
They bring the shot clock down to 10. DeFries, left wing three. Yes! Ilse DeFries with a monster shot. And Miami opens the lead back to 2 digits. 66-56. Miami. Or rather, now they downgrade it as they call that a 2-point field goal. The officials are going to the monitor to look at it, I believe, as the call on the floor is that DeFries' foot was on the line, but that's still a big shot for the RedHawks to get them out to a 9-point lead as it stands. Ilse DeFries up to 14 points for the RedHawks. After a bit of a back-and-forth start to the year, DeFries has just caught absolute fire in terms of scoring in MAC play. 2 20-point games in MAC play this season, and now her 6th straight in double figures as she entered the day averaging 13 a game, which was top 20 in the league. So this is a big review here to see if this is a double-digit game or not. 3:48 remaining in the 4th quarter. And Miami leads Ball State 65-56, pending potentially an extra point, depending on review.
Yeah, and Miami, especially defensively, forcing 10 second-half turnovers, likely not done yet. I mean, they've, despite being out-rebounded 41-29, like the last game against Central Michigan where the Chippewas were a good defensive team, so are the Ball State Cardinals. Miami has really taken over in that turnover margin. And, I mean, these threes are really falling for the RedHawks. 11 three-pointers, another double-digit effort from deep for Miami. And this momentum is really rolling towards the RedHawks in Millett Hall today.
The last time Miami won both meetings in one season against Ball State was 2003-04. Miami seeking to do that in a year that has already included plenty of history, including their longest undefeated streak to start conference play in program history. The RedHawks have won 21 games this year. It is a 2. We have confirmation, so the foot was on the line for Ilse DeFries, but still a big bucket to get Miami up by 9 points. 2 timeouts left for Miami, 3 for Ball State. 9-point RedHawk lead. Cardinals have the ball and the arrow. Miami picks up a little bit of pressure here as the inbound goes to Norman. She works on Singer and runs it across the timeline on the right wing before sidestepping to the middle of the floor. Singer poked it onto the floor for a moment before Norman recovered. And Norman then gets wrapped by Singer on the far side. And Singer points at her head to apologize to her head coach after a foul there. The second on Miami as a team in this quarter. Singer gets her second. And it's an inbound from the far side for Ball State that comes in for Tagayi. Tagayi holding next to the waist, dribbles from the left side. Inserts into the post for Towers, swings it to the right wing. Norman gets around Singer, floats it up from the short corner. Little bit short, offensive rebound. Towers back out, second try from 3 for Norman, missed everything long, but tipped out of bounds by Miami. And that's a second offensive rebound on this possession for Ball State. They're now plus 12 on the glass. Again, that was a point that was a little bit surprising in the first meeting. Miami winning the rebounding battle. These teams sit on opposite ends of the MAC in terms of rebounding margin. Ball State, one of the best. Miami has struggled to rebound the ball. They are going to take another look at this. So the officiating crew headed to the monitor. Call on the floor was Ball State possession with 3:18 remaining in the 4th quarter. Cardinals trail by 9.
And we're sort of getting to that point where some threes need to start falling for Ball State. They're again, a good three-point shooting team just tonight, 3 of 15. And again, their lead scorer, Salenbine, has been MIA, only 5 points and 2 of 11 from the field. So maybe we see her get involved, or if you kind of ride the hot hand and you rely more on Tessa Towers, who's had a really good game, 20.7 rebounds. You have options, but you got to execute soon.
Salenbine was really good in the first meeting, had 18 points and 9 boards. Miami did really well for themselves, though, on Ball State's secondary scores. Already mentioned Tessa Towers with 7 points, which was a MAC low, and Grace Kingery had her worst shooting game of the season, going 2 of 10. In this game, both Towers and Kingery have been good, but Miami has shut down the primary scorer, as you highlighted, in Bree Salenbine. Possession does stay with Ball State. They've got 15 left to shoot, 3:18 on the game clock as they trail by 9. From the far side baseline, it's inserted for Tagayi, high left. Tagayi works diagonally to the MAC logo, almost dragged her foot, and just throws up an off-balance shot that's off the bottom of the strings and out of bounds. Brady Salee has come onto the floor saying that Tagayi got her arm hacked, but they let him play on. They have really let these teams play through a ton of physicality. Very few fouls to speak of in this game. And Miami now takes it from right to left, and Tamar Singer holds on as the clock rolls under 3 minutes to play. RedHawks leading 65-56. Singer accelerates to the right side. It's Scalia. Now Treader between the rings. High pass pulled down by Herho. High left. Herho plays catch with Scalia. Trying to give it in for Treader up top. It's batted away. Tagayi knocks it into Salenbine's hand. Salenbine goes coast to coast, works through some traffic. Laid it up and in, but they wave it off as there's a foul called on the drive in. The foul is against Tamar Singer. That's her third. And that's the second time that we have seen a shot fall for the Cardinals after a foul, but the officials rule the foul is on the floor. So that's the third foul as a team for Miami. They inbound to Salenbine, works her way out to the free throw line just underneath it, pulls up for 2, missed it. RedHawks have the board. Tamar Singer again, giving the calm down sign to the squad as she walks it up the right side of the floor with 2:23 to play. 65-56 Miami. As they look to retake their spot atop the league standings. Singer communicating with her head coach. Hand up for Glenn Box. Now he says go. 6 on the timer. Singer goes straight down the right side, kicks to the corner. Herho slashes, pulls up from the right lane. Little bit strong. Rebound tipped out by DeFries. Scalia controls back up for Singer, who fakes the logo 3, but pulls it back down for Miami as we move under 2 minutes to play. Singer dribbling with the right hand. Norman poking away at her. Singer works to the short corner on the right side, finds Treader, back out Singer, eyes the rim with 5, steps back, long 3, she's got it! What a shot from Tamar Singer, 5 feet behind the three-point line on the right wing, and Miami leads it by 12. Down the left side go the Cardinals. Tagayi swings it to the outside. Salenbine's tray. Short, off, or rather a defensive rebound controlled by Nuria Herho. And now Miami can start to feel it with a 12-point lead and 1:20 to go. Singer brings it into the front court.
All Tamar Singer right now, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 8 steals. She is the star of the show today.
A new career high in scoring with that last 3 for Tamar Singer. 8 on the shot clock. Scalia left wing 3. Off the front rim. Rebound by Norman with under a minute to play. Ball State's got a push. They turn it over. Herho with the steal. Down the right side. Euros to the lane. In and out. And attacking the offensive glass. Had 2 hands on it, but loses it out of bounds. Couple chances for some punctuation there for Miami. Unfortunately, they can't hit either of them between the Scalia 3 and the Herho transition lay. But this will likely not matter in the grand scheme of things. It's brought into the front court by Salenbine with 45 seconds to play. She gives it to the right wing for Kingery, steps aside, puts it into the paint for Tagayi, further across in the left lane for Towers, who lays it in. And that cuts the lead to 10 for Miami with 37.6 seconds to go. Timeout Ball State. They've still got 2 left. Brady Salee's going to pick up some pressure here in all likelihood. Miami still got 2 timeouts to work with if they get in trouble. Ball State has not been called for a foul in this quarter. So you've got 4 fouls to give here if you're the Cardinals. But at this point, if you play the foul game, especially with, as well as Miami typically shoots the free throw, that would probably put this game to bed. You're kind of in turnover or bust mode if you're Ball State. Ball State coming off a 27-win season last year. They went to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2009. Again, a team that lost tons. 7 major contributors departed. It's been impressive what they've done this year with some players who have professional experience. Miami's going to call timeout here to extend the break. And so that will keep things going for a little bit longer. This RedHawk team who's looking to push their way to the top of the conference. Miami has not made the NCAA tournament since 2008. And they have now put themselves in a great spot for that top seed in Cleveland coming up in now under a month.
Yeah, and honestly, they're feeling really good about themselves. They've won the head-to-head against a lot of these top MAC contenders. The RedHawks, really the biggest matchup coming up next in a few home games is that Kent State game. But Kent State right now a 7 seed. Miami's beaten Ball State now twice. They've beaten UMass once. They've beaten Central Michigan, Ohio, all these teams. So the RedHawks are feeling good about themselves. They match up really well, and that defensive prowess has really propelled the RedHawks to the top of the MAC. And Glenn Box's 3rd year, what a job he's been doing in this 3rd year.
Best start to a MAC season in program history. And again, like you said, you're close to taking 2 out of 2 from Ball State. The one team you lost to, UMass, you dismantled on your home floor earlier this year. You also beat Kent State on the road. Miami advances the ball here. They bring it into the front court, but they turn it over off the inbound, so that keeps things alive for the moment as Salenbine goes coast to coast, lays it up short, but gets fouled. And that is what could not happen for Miami there. 30.5 seconds remaining, and Ball State's got a chance to score with the clock stopped. 68-58, the lead still at 10 for Miami.
Yeah, and if you're Ball State, maybe a potential miss on the second one to try and tap it out, but we'll see.
Put up the first free throw and miss it. One of their better rebounders in Tess Towers is on the bench. And Miami's got 2 bigs in the game as well, so the RedHawks do match up well on the glass at the moment as Salenbine connects on the second one. Glenn Box calls another timeout to advance the ball. That is Miami's last timeout. 30.5 seconds remaining with a 9-point lead. Ball State does have the arrow, 2 timeouts as well, but trailing here on the road. Credit to this RedHawks team, this Ball State squad, as good as they are down low. They shoot it at 46.7% from the field. That is best in the MAC and top 20 nationally. Today, 39% from the field, including a 3 of 17 mark from 3. They got 13 offensive rebounds in this game, but Miami has weathered through that. They've forced 22 turnovers. And the RedHawks are in the driver's seat if they can take care of business here late. Scally on the inbound from the far side. Looking for an option, puts it into the backcourt for Tamar Singer. Singer dribbles it left, gets around the trap on the left side, passing it to DeFries. Now back to Singer, she turns it over. Salenbine up ahead, Singer reaches in and fouls her with 21.8 seconds to go. And goodness, now 2 turnovers for Miami with a chance to arguably put the game away. And Ball State's got a chance to cut this down to 7 at the free throw line. Again, it's Bree Salenbine, who went 1 of 2 last time at the line, but is a very good free throw shooter, 6th in the MAC at 82%. And buries the first one.
And you absolutely need to make the second one. You know, you split the trip on the first one, leaving points off the board. Need to make the second one here if you're Ball State.
She makes them both. No timeout for Brady Salee as Miami inserts it for Tamar Singer. Now it's Herho on the left side. Back for Singer on the right. 15 on the timer. Miami tried to slip it through 2 defenders. Ball State takes it away. 3 from the left side is good for Salenbine. It's a 4-point game with 8 seconds to go. Miami puts it in for Scalia running away from the traffic, and she's fouled by Salenbine. That's 3 giveaways for Miami trying to put this game away that has allowed Ball State to claw back into this, and now it is a free throw game. But, as we mentioned, Ball State's got fouls to give. If you're Brady Salih here, as much as you want to trap for a steal, you may consider just giving a foul or two before Miami gets this ball in. 7.3 seconds to go, 4-point lead. Amber Treader inbounds right in front of us on the near side. Gets it in for Tamar Singer. She's fouled immediately. Foul goes against Norman. Miami will inbound from the same spot. RedHawks are fine with this, though, ticking 1 second off at a time, 6.6 remaining. From further down on the defensive end, Treader goes to put it in, lobs it forward. Scalia got loose. Tagayi on her. Scalia running away, and finally she's fouled with 4.3 seconds to go. And again, that's only the 3rd foul on Ball State. They've still got to give one more and then foul again. Now Miami's got it in the front court. Ball State checks in Tessa Towers back onto the floor for Anise Tagayi. Amber Scalia set to inbound it for the RedHawks with 4.3 to go. She inbounds for the freeze on the near side. Towers fouls her immediately. 3.3 seconds to go. So, not great execution from Miami at first, but clinical right now, just getting the ball in and bleeding time off the clock. Now, finally, Ball State can put Miami on the free throw line, but there's only 3 seconds left in this game. Scalia fumbles the inbound. It ends up in the hands of Verber, but she's got to run the length of the floor, puts it up at the buzzer, over top the backboard, and Miami survives. It was ugly, but the RedHawks come out on top for the 2nd time this year over Ball State, as Miami downs the defending champs to take both games from the Cardinals this season. The RedHawks 68-64 winners this afternoon, as they pick up their 22nd win of the year and improve to 13-1 in the conference. Miami is back where they belong, atop the league standings, as the RedHawks take both wins from Ball State and avenge the UMass loss from a couple games ago. And they've put themselves in a great position with 4 games left in the regular season, including 2 inside this building, to get that regular season title and claim the 1 seed in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I think this was Miami's best win on the season. It was great to win by 20 in Muncie, but I mean, you win here at home, you overtake Ball State in the standings, and you just get a really nice defensive battle that Miami ended up winning. They forced 22 turnovers, and it was capped off by Tamar Singer, 25 points and 8 steals. She had an excellent game, and yeah, the RedHawks continue to play really well against these top MAC teams. And we got a couple weeks left. The RedHawks hoping to keep the pedal to the metal for the rest of this one, and then Cleveland coming up.
A career high in points and steals for Tamar Singer, the highlight of the day for Miami. 25 points, 8 steals, and the RedHawks beat Ball State 68-64 in a game that was an absolute war to score in early on. It opened up in the 3rd quarter and then went right back to that lockdown play that we saw in the opening 20 minutes. In the 4th quarter of play, Miami and Ball State score an equal 14 points in the 4th quarter, and Miami hangs on for a 4-point win to improve to 22-5 on the season and 13-1 in the MAC. With the loss, Ball State drops to 22-6, 13-2 in the conference. Cardinals have just 3 games remaining on their schedule: Akron, Ohio, and then at Toledo for Ball State. As right now, the best they could do without help is the 2 seed for Cleveland. They could still jump Miami in the conference standings, but now having dropped both games to the RedHawks this year, it would take quite a bit of help for the Cardinals. They would have to win more games than the RedHawks the rest of the way, having played 1 less, and they would also need the RedHawks again to finish completely below them in the standings, with Miami controlling the head-to-head. As for the RedHawks, again, 2 games still left on the home schedule, 4 games left overall. Miami will head to Eastern Michigan for a midweek game next week starting at 6:30. That game will be coming up on Wednesday for the RedHawks before they are back at home next Saturday against the Akron Zips, a 1 o'clock start, which we'll have for you here on RedHawk Radio with coverage beginning at the pregame show at 12:30. We're not done for the day just yet, though, here on our airwaves. Head across town tonight for our nightcap of the doubleheader. Second game of the series between the 20th ranked Miami RedHawks hockey team and 9th ranked Minnesota Duluth coming your way from Katie Arena later tonight. Coverage begins with our pregame at 5:35 and puck drop from Katie Arena at 6:05. For now, that'll wrap things up for us. We'll have post-game coverage after the break. For Andrew Relvas, Luke West Poley signing off from Oxford. Your final score today, Miami 68 and Ball State 64. Thanks for tuning into this presentation of Miami basketball on Red Hawk Radio. We'll see you next time.
And welcome back for the post-game show. I am Matthew Zsembik. What a game today from Millett Arena. Your Miami RedHawks take sole possession of the MAC Conference once again. They sweep Ball State, taking them down 68-64. Definitely a higher scoring second half, with the team scoring 27 and 26 points in the third quarter respectively. Your Miami RedHawks were led by Tamar Singer with a career-high 25 points. She went 9 for 17 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, with an astonishing 8 steals, almost a double-double with points and steals. It was a close game most of the second half, but in the fourth quarter, the RedHawks, they just turned off a different gear. They went on an 8-0 run to go up 60-50 with 7:50 to go. Toward the end of the game, however, they were up by 12, and but they couldn't get the ball in. 3 straight turnovers led to a Ball State couple of free throws, and Bree Salenbein hit a 3 to make it a 4-point game. The RedHawks, however, after a timeout from Coach Box, got it in, got the foul, and they were able to run out the clock, and they were able to take down the Cardinals. Final percentages for these two teams. Your RedHawks shot 42%, 12 for 28 from the field, or from three-point range, excuse me. Definitely turned in a higher gear in the second half with three-pointers, total of 43%. They shot 4 for 8 from the free throw line, 50%. Got out-rebounded by 10, 44-34, but DeVries led the way with 9 boards for your RedHawks. So Miami, like I said, wins this one late in the fourth quarter with the run. They take it by 4 points here in Millett Arena. Your Lady RedHawks are back in action on the 25th. They travel to East Michigan. They take on them 6:30 p.m. That'll be on ESPN+. Make sure to stay tuned. Just in under 2.5 hours, we will be back at Steve Coach Caddy Arena for Miami hockey. They will take on Minnesota Duluth for a ranked matchup. Thank you so much for tuning in to Red Hawk Radio. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Matthew Zsembik signing off for the postgame show. Thank you, and go RedHawks.